Hi everybody. I wanted to do a little presentation for you on art therapy. Now I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, so that's you get a master's degree, you do 3,000 hours of supervised client hours, you study a year for your exam, and then you become licensed. Well, in addition to that, you can become an art therapist registered. You see over here, it says by Anna Rayner, MA, that's a Master's of Art, and all you have to have is a master's to teach community college, so you can do that. And then ATR, Art Therapist Registered. So that means that Anna's a registered art therapist. So in addition, she can see clients and do art with them. Loyola Marymount has this program, and I took a few classes there. It was really great. So I just wanted to share with you what I know, and it's very informative, and it's good to know that there's other psychological theories available that you can use. Okay, here we go. So this is a little slideshow. It's not long. Art, literacy, and learning. So here we go. What's so great about art? Look at how messy that is and how fun that is. Remember haptic learning? And here we have art promotes hands-on self-directed learning. Look at these kids. You see inside those windows, it's like an art place. So it's not on your patio. It's okay. Don't worry about it. And then here we have art engages children's senses. Open-ended play. What's open-ended play? So it has no purpose at all. Do you ever do something just for fun? Like you sit down and you do a jigsaw puzzle. Like it's not going to get you anywhere except to relax and have fun, right? Well, the same with open-ended play. There's no purpose for it except to be with yourself, be with other people, enjoy yourself, and do something creative. And here we go. So here we have the specific skills. Do you remember this kind of art piece? It's crayons and then you put watercolors over it. Do you remember? Maybe you did it in grade school. So it helps with the skills, cognitive skills, emotional skills, social skills, all of your senses. How wonderful. And remember old Erik Erikson, who we always talk about when we do psychosocial stage development, right? He's looking at certain building blocks, and they are addressed in art: cognitive, emotional, social, kinesthetic. And you see here this fun little art piece. I saw a blank looking at me. So it is pretty open-ended. The child could have drawn anything. And when we look at art, we don't say, oh, hey, a cow's face isn't, pink. We say, oh, look at the pink and look at the black. We support it. It's a way that we can help build confidence. Art and literacy, my cat and me. And look at the lovely mistake between cat and me. This is a great thing about art therapy, is you can't make a mistake. It's okay. And if there are mistakes, you can have the moment to go, look it, we can fix something. Or let's make that into a little mountain, right? And we wouldn't say, hey, dogs don't have blue faces. It's like, look at the blue face. Tell me about the blue face. So this is art builds spatial relations and visual literacy. This is interesting, common elements. So you see in language and art, they share common elements, lines, shapes. But in language, it's letters. In art, it's color. In language, it's words. In art, it's texture. In language, it's sentences. In art, it's volume. So you can see the crossover and the benefit. Common elements. Oh my goodness, you guys, see this cephalopod here? A cephalopod is a circle, like a big head, sometimes no bodies. And so little kids will draw cephalopods. And sometimes they'll have a little body on it, sometimes no arms. But you think about a little kid, this is like maybe a 2-year-old or so, and how big their head is, right? And how they're walking like this with their big heads. Well, that's what they're drawing. They're drawing cephalopods. Oh, look at this cephalopod, right? Draw a picture of yourself. Well, that's a cephalopod when you're 2 years old. See the hair and the nose and the mouth, the little body. And now see this self-portrait. I don't know. How old do you think this girl is? Maybe she's 12. Maybe she's 9. Maybe now is a good time to say what happens. So when you're in elementary school or when you're a little kid, you're always drawing, right? Sometimes you're drawing at school. Sometimes you're experimenting with art materials. Well, around 12 years old, what happens is that we make a decision that, you know, I'm not the artist. I don't do art. My sister's the artist. My mom's the artist. My dad's the artist, not me. And then we just stop. But when we're little, we don't even think about it. It's a way to express ourselves. And that's what we're talking about. That art therapy is not about doing good art. It's just another way to communicate. Print awareness. You see practicing the A's there. Self-awareness. Look at how cute this is. So here it looks like, I don't know, a 2.5-year-old's tree, maybe it's a balloon, 3.5-year-old, just the difference in the drawings, hand and brain coordination. Look at how fun this is. Don't you want to do this right now? Maybe not. But it's a foot, and it's 2 hands, and it's a bird. So we have different kinds of mediums, right? And the more water you put in a medium, the less control you have of it. So a pencil is the most controlled medium there is to watercolors, which is all of the water, and you can't really control where the watercolor is going to go or whatever. So if you have someone that needs to be in control and needs to kind of let go a bit, it's kind of interesting to give them something that's not a pencil because they can't erase it, you know. If they use a marker, if you go any even further and you give them paints, you know, what might their experience be? Or if there's a person that's just overflowing, too much emotion, too much anxiety, just, you know, like this all the time, then maybe they want a pencil. And maybe they want to start with a pencil to have a more controlled medium. And then if you make a mistake, you can erase it. You can feel like better reassured. And then maybe you can, okay, I can add some marker now. I'm feeling a little better. So that's the different mediums you can use. Oh, do you remember this? When you put color on one side of the paper and then you fold it in half, right? And this is something I've never done, but I think it looks fun. Maybe you've done it. Balloon art. Art builds aesthetic awareness and self-esteem, yeah. So that's how we want to use it. We want to use it as a communication advice. Art is a language, not a decoration. It's not about pretty pictures. It's about, I'm going to put something in between us, and I'm going to put it here, and then we're going to talk about this, what I drew. We're not going to talk about directly about how I feel and things like that. So here we have Lily and Mom and Dad. So I think, I'm not sure where Lily is, but it's okay. But you see what a bountiful picture this is. And like, look at all the happy carrots. Look at how much this love is growing. Look at all the happy flowers and how many flowers, and that we're connected. We're connected by this flower, her and I, right? And the heart between us. And it's just like things are going well here. And so meaningful art experiences provide children with authentic self-expression. Hi, I'm a really pretty fish. Freedom of choice, thought, and feeling. So, yeah, it's important to add art, right, to the children's environment. And whether you're going into becoming an elementary, preschool, high school teacher, whether you have kids, whether you want to do it yourself, whether you're becoming a nurse and you have the kids in the waiting room or they're in the doctor's office, and maybe you have them draw on that sheet of paper that covers the examination table with a few crayons, right? supervised, so they don't color on the table, but you know, just to be aware that kids, they can't always say how they're feeling and what they're thinking, but they sure can draw it. And it's helpful. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a few slides from a PowerPoint, and then we'll do the third part. So here's some more fun facts to know and tell. Here is a picture of a bird. So this little person drew this bird. See, it's the first picture here. Before seeing what a coloring book bird is supposed to look like. See how creative that is? And then they saw the coloring book and that birds are supposed to be like this. We all know what birds are supposed to look like, right? And that we're supposed to put the sun in the corner of the picture, and the sun can have a smiley face, sometimes even sunglasses on it. We learn what this is supposed to be, right? And the rainbow, and then we have the ground, and that's okay. That just shows that it's our socialization, that we see the kid sitting next to us and how they draw, and then we're all drawing the same way. So that's not bad and wrong. But it's interesting that before they saw the coloring book bird, that was their bird. This is a study, and I'm giving you a handout on it. And what it's about is they took over 7,000 identical twins and fraternal twins, and they had them draw a picture. And the more detailed the picture is, the more points that picture got. So you see our friend, the top row, the little guy with, he just has legs and 2 circles and this mouth and like just a little mohawk, right? Our old friend, the cephalopod, right? And then you see the middle person, and that person actually looks like they have lips or teeth, and they have ears. This person put more things on it, right? And it has 2 arms and 2 legs and feet. And then we have the next one, and we have our cephalopod friend. Bottom row, we have a cephalopod that kind of has some toes, it looks like. That's extra parts, and it has arms, a cephalopod, and it has a little mohawk. And then the middle person, that little girl, she has a top part, she has a skirt. Look at all her fingers, and she actually has a little nose. And then we have the next guy who's just kind of lying down, but he's got a top body, he's got a bottom body, he's got legs, doesn't have any arms, but he's got a little nose too. And so what they did was the more details the kids put into the pictures, the higher the score was. So you see the top row, we have a cephalopod with a 6, the middle person a 10, then 6 for the cephalopod, then the bottom row, 6, middle, that girl there, she got a 10, 7 for the laying down man. And this is all depending on how much detail. So then what they did with these kids in the study was at the age of 14, they gave them intelligence tests. And what showed was the more detail was in a picture that they drew back then, the higher their intelligence scores. Now that doesn't mean if you don't draw, you're not smart. There could be a lot of reasons you're not drawing. You might have had the thought, you know, which isn't really a reality, that I can't draw, but you know, if you have a marker, you can draw. So it doesn't mean it needs to be good though. So that's kind of just one interesting thing. So I want to just show you, besides that study, I have this handout. And this handout is called When Children Draw. And it's what you can expect when toddlers draw, when preschoolers draw. And then this, maybe it won't be, maybe it'll be more of an 8x10 when you download it. But it is, this is really fun. It's the stages of scribbling. So this side is the stages of scribbling for different age groups. Like they can draw a squiggly line, they can draw a circle, you know, all these different developmental stages. And then the stages of drawing for certain age groups too. So that's kind of fun to look at. So the only real way to know about art therapy is to do it. So that's what we're going to do now. Well, like I said, the only way to really understand art in therapy is to do it. And this isn't therapy, but I'm just showing you something fun that you can do with kids, or you can do with yourself as a way to relax. So what I want you to do is go get a piece of paper. It can be a Xerox piece of paper from your printer. It can be, if you have art paper, that's great. If you don't, no problem. If you have a paper bag from Ralph's, go get it, rip it up, just have something you can draw on, and then get a marker. Go get a marker. If you have a couple different colors, go get those. So pause it for a second and go get that, and when you come back, we'll start. Well, you're back. Okay, so don't worry, don't worry. This is not about good art. There's no wrong way to do this. So I'm going to warm you up so you can get out of your head, stop thinking. And so what I want you to do is, you have your piece of paper, right? I want you to take your marker, take the top off, and I'm going to teach you how to scribble. When was the last time you scribbled? Like from when you were so little, right? And this is to get you out of your head and stop thinking. Okay, so ready? Let's go. Do big circles. Do it. Just do it. Big circles on your paper. Big circles. That's right. Big circles. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good, good. Keep going. Big circles. Big circles. Okay, then back and forth, back and forth. Yep, just do it. Don't think about it. Get out of your head. Just back and forth, back and forth. That's great. And then up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah, yeah, just do it. Up and down. Okay, great. Dot, 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 dot. Don't worry about the marker. Dot, 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 dot. It's a nice sound, right? Dot, 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 dot. Sometimes when 50 people are doing it in class, it sounds like rain. I love it. Dot, 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 dot. Okay, great. Okay, so put your name at the top of the paper, your little signature, and that's the first part. Now, the second part, turn your paper over, and the art directive is to draw a picture of yourself. Whatever that means to you, there's no right or wrong. It's not about good art. It's stick figures, whatever you want it to be. So draw a picture of yourself, and you can use more than one color. You can use all your colors if you want, or you can just use one color, whatever you want. And you only have 5 minutes, so go. And I'm timing you. I'm in charge of it. Don't worry about it. Just draw a picture of yourself. I'll wait here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do it too. Remember, there's no such thing as bad art. It's just another way to communicate. Okay, keep going. Okay, keep going. Probably have another minute or so. Okay, and if you've finished already, what I want you to do is, draw some words by your picture that describe you, like good friend, funny, whatever you think are words that describe you, and just put that wherever you want in your picture. Oh, and you can also, why don't you create a title for your picture, okay? And put that at the top. Whatever, there's no right or wrong. Whatever title you want to give it, really. Everything's fine. Oh, you have another minute. Keep going. Notice your process. Just kind of notice how you feel. The thoughts you say to yourself. Thoughts that might have no truth to them, but they're going through your brain. How you feel, if you're feeling calm, if it's kind of fun. Okay, take that last 30 seconds. Okay, why don't you finish that thought? So what we did, even though it's just drawing, right? What we did was we're working through certain parts of our brain. And so the first thing we're doing is when we're drawing, we're using our brainstem here, our action, our motion, right? So this is really good to do after you've been, through any kind of trauma, or if you're a little upset, just do a fine motor skill, right? And that will help this part of the brain relax. And then the next part we move to, when we're doing art, maybe we're, like I said, what kind of thoughts, what kind of feelings are you having? What's coming up, is it nice? And we're in our limbic region of our brain then. And then the next part, we put words to the picture, right? We put a title on the picture. So maybe we ought to think a little bit more about that. So then we're moving to our frontal lobe here, yeah? And the next part of the exercise is we drew it, we thought about it, and now we're going to talk about it. This is harder because you have to make that leap from just doing it, whatever, how it feels good, not even thinking about it, to now you would have someone present it to you, or you would talk to them about it. And what's nice is that we're talking about the picture. We're not really talking about, we're talking about that girl in the picture. We're talking about that boy in the picture. It's not such a direct thing, but still communication can come out, right? So then you would tell about your picture would be the next part. The next directed is, tell me about your picture. And so I'm going to do that so you know what it's like. Okay, so remember I said it's not about good art. So here we have my picture. And this is me, and from forever. Like since I was a little girl, I always drew this kind of Jetson dress on myself. It's like 2 triangles, easy. Always wore high heels. And like I don't wear a dress or high heels ever now. But so this is me and my dog. This is my dog, Sammy, who's hilarious. She's a white boxer, and she's a little polka dotty, and she's white with big brown spots like this, and she's got an underbite. So she's super funny, and that's a palm tree over there, and I called it Jeanne and Sammy, and the words are happy, Sammy's pretty funny, and relaxing. Maybe Sammy and I are at the beach in Hawaii. I don't know. So you would tell me about your picture. And to not be judgmental and just give you open-ended questions, I would say, like maybe I don't recognize something that you drew, right? And I will trace it with my finger, like this. Tell me about this one. Tell me about this. And what this does, tracing it with your finger, it's kind of like that person's been heard. Even though you're not using words to do it, it's as if you're using active listening to understand what they did and what they're telling you in your picture. Oh, tell me about this one. I see all the dots here. Yeah. And they would just start to tell you about, oh, that's Sammy, that's my, and on and on. Hopefully, it's just a way to start a conversation. And then, oh, this girl here. How does this girl feel in this picture? You could ask a question like that. That's an open-ended question. So I will answer it. This girl feels really happy because she's with her dog. And she loves her dog a lot, and her dog makes her laugh. It's super funny. And they're both in Hawaii, and they're relaxing, and they're having a great time. And you would say, oh, have you ever been to Hawaii? I'm like, yeah, I went to Hawaii once, and it was for my girlfriend's wedding. A bunch of us went, and I was her bridesmaid, and it was and I would just start telling you a story. That's a true story. But since you asked, and we're not really talking about the picture anymore, we're talking about me. So it's just a more relaxed way to have a conversation. And then when stuff runs out, it's like, oh, I see that you guys are really grounded in this picture. That's nice. Yeah, when I'm with my dog, I feel really relaxed. She's really nice. Sometimes she lays on my lap. It's one of my favorite things. So like that. And so I just wanted to show you about art therapy. And not that we're doing therapy here, but just that there are so many creative ways to use psychology. There's dance therapy, there's music therapy, and this is art therapy. And now you probably know more than most students know about art therapy. But it's a wonderful thing. Thanks for joining me.